Hello, guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Are you going to do it? You do it.
Hi, guys. I'm Cindy.
And I'm Paige.
And this
is Mom's the Word.
Where Mom Knows Best.
Or at least she is trying her best.
We really are. We're trying our best.
We're not doing great at the intro, you guys. We're not. We're not going to reshoot it again because we ain't got no time for that.
No, I thought it was pretty well.
You know, it went well. I think
Yeah.
they get the gist. They
Yeah,
understand by now.
We're trying our best.
We are. We are genuinely doing our very, very best.
We are. Goodness gracious.
Always tired. I want to say, how are you? But I know the answer.
Motherhood's a doozy, guys.
It's like you want to sleep and you just kind of dream about sleeping, but you don't really do it.
I always tell my husband, like, I don't think I've slept for the last 7 years.
No, I never really hit that full REM sleep, you know, where you're just like out of it, like no dreams, no consciousness.
My ear's always listening.
Yeah,
I can
genuinely.
hear it, the littlest rollover.
One starts to gagging from 3 rooms down.
Oh my
I can hear
God.
it. I can hear it.
Literally.
Take off running. It's like
Yeah.
an instinct that just happens, or at least it did for me.
Oh no, for sure. And I told so I've had 7 newborns now, and I told my I haven't slept really in the last 4 years because I've had a newborn back to back to back, and you know they've all gone home around a year, something like that. But I still don't sleep well.
Right when you're getting to the part of relaxation.
Right when they're sleeping through
Let's
the
do
night.
it again.
I know, and I'm tired.
It takes a special angel of a human to be capable of that. Because I'm telling you right now, I would be overstimulated and not capable.
It's rough. I don't know. I think because I've done it so many times, I'm still exhausted. I'm still overwhelmed, but it's just like, oh, this is it,
Yeah.
And she's, our foster daughter is very much a baby still. And so right now she's almost 3 months old. So, we're getting there.
In the thick of it.
We're in the thick of it.
In the thick of it.
We sure are.
How much are you waking up in the middle of the night?
Actually, now it's only about 1 to 2 times a night. But
Oh, nice.
because I feed before I go to bed, so like 11:30, I will feed.
You do a dream feed.
I do a dream feed.
That's what they call it.
Always have.
Yeah.
Always
You're a big
will.
fan of them.
I am. So we put them down for bed, and then I know around that 3-hour mark they're going to get hungry. So before they wake up, I'm dream feeding. Just make sure they're up, pop a bottle in their mouth. They're awake enough to fully drink. You fully burp, and you lay them right back down.
Nice.
And then that's usually by between 11:30 and 12.
That's when you're laying down.
That's when I'm laying down, and then she'll wake up one more time around 3:30, and then put her right back down, and then she's up at 7.
So you lay them down at 7:30. What are you and your husband doing from 7:30 to 11:30? You have like a routine of like, let's just hang out together. Do you like clean the kitchen together and then
So I can tell you,
decompress?
so Fox, who is a year now, my baby turned 1.
Just turned 1. Sweet boy.
He is down definitely by 7:15, between 7:15 and 7:30. Now the baby, she's a newborn, so hers fluctuates between 7 and 8. In between there, I'm making sure it ends somewhere in there.
You're working on a routine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're working on it, but it's always somewhere in there. And then Bear's 8 o'clock. So by 8:30, I'll say, me and Chris are done.
Yeah.
We're usually laying in our bed, like scrolling our phones for a minute after, like we unwind for a second. We're like, we meet in the middle.
Disassociating.
Exactly. And then we'll put on a show. We really like to watch Survivor together.
Same.
We will rewatch some episodes and things like that. Sometimes we clean together. We watch a movie
Whatever
together.
needs to get done.
Exactly. Take a shower together, doing something together. And we stay up for a while until Chris goes to bed about 10:30. And then I make sure I'm up. I'm just scrolling my phone, usually answering comments or watching a show. And then I feed the baby. And then, she wakes up in at the exact times now. So
Very nice.
I'm
Very
getting
nice.
way more sleep now.
Right. More than you were.
It was like an hour and a half in the beginning because she was so itty bitty. But now she's gaining
so
weight now.
itty
So
bitty.
she is.
She had to be on a higher calorie food.
Yes,
She was so little,
she's still
right?
on that. She's still on that. But yeah, she was so little. Full term, but just so little. Some babies are little,
Right.
And yeah, she's doing good. She's thriving.
I know some people may be curious to this, and of course, you only share what you feel is necessary. But with her situation right now, with that foster care journey, do you have any update or anything that you want to say? You're just still in the foster care journey with her.
Yeah, no, there's no updates.
I know everybody's always so nosy
Yeah,
as to.
so people know there's court goes on as soon as you get babies, but basically their status hearings, where are we at, what's going on with the family, what's going on with the baby, get everybody on the same page, but there's no big updates on things.
It's a slow process.
Yeah. And, you know, we've had her 2 months now, almost 3 months now, I'm sorry. And basically it's just us loving her, like making sure she grows, and whatever happens behind the scenes is really none of my business unless it you know, involves her personally. So, but yeah, there's no big updates. A lot of times in foster care, it's around that 6 month mark that you really like, okay, this is how the family's doing. This is how things are progressing. So that's kind of more so when you hear things. But.
So it's not abnormal. I know some of your followers are thinking, wait, she doesn't give us updates. It's not abnormal to not have any sort of talking about it until around 6 months anyways.
Yeah. And, you know, like as I've grown to become, you know, I've grown in my journey of sharing things. I share less and less.
Yep. I agree.
And not that I've shared more in the past. It's just that more people have stated opinions and things like that. And I've learned a lot along the way, and I've never overshared. I have never overshared, and I can say that for a fact. But I just want to make sure that I'm respecting everybody and I'm learning. And so until things are definite, I don't like to share things.
Yeah.
I don't even share if kid goes to visit anymore. I don't, because
that's what I was going to say. You used to say the visits, and I think that's where people are like, she doesn't share as much anymore.
No, because let's say we miss a visit or something and people might notice. It's just no one's business.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I've just become, you know, that way. I just don't share as much.
So that's what's going on with Cindy right now.
Yes.
A 1-year-old still in the journey of foster care with a little one. Yes. A son homeschooling, about to have a Christmas break, right? Do y'all do?
I'm about to sneeze.
You gonna sneeze? Well, are you a scream sneezer?
No.
I'm scared.
I talked about it.
Look
so
at the light.
Now it's not going to come. No, it's gone. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's gone. That happens.
Well, yes, I am in the thick of it. I have.
Does Bear have a Christmas break when you homeschool, or do you just homeschool every day?
So he does technically get a Christmas break. Like when we travel and things like that, we'll take breaks, but it's not on like the school district schedule.
Right.
So like sometimes I'll go all the way up till Christmas Eve because that's just in our house, and we're going to take a trip the week after, you know, when all the kids are back in school, we're going to Disney World. And during the week of Disney World, we're not going to do school. So I do take breaks. They're just not on the school district schedule all the time. Sometimes they are, like Thanksgiving break, like the 3 days the kids were off, he was off, but really no, like if we're on top of it, but no, sometimes we do things on Fridays, and so we make up for it different days. But we like to take trips when the kids are in school.
Yeah.
So his breaks are a little bit different. That's one of the things
I just thought of whenever you were like, well, the kids are going to be in school and we'll be at Disney World. I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's so nice because it's probably not as crowded.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
so
like
nice.
A really nice thing is that like it won't be as crowded and we can move our schedule around.
Or the homeschool perks.
Yeah.
That makes me think too, because like sometimes I'll go to things and there'll be kids there and I'll be like, aren't you supposed to be at school? Like,
no.
There's homeschool
It's so
kids.
odd to me, the parents of people who do look like that. A lot of like the older generation, like, why are these kids out here right now? Why are they at a restaurant on a Wednesday? And I'm like, because we're homeschooled.
Yeah.
And we can do school anytime we want.
I think that's so cool. I'm really considering that journey with Boston for whenever he's older. Right now he is in ABA therapy and I'm not equipped to give him the correct therapy that I feel like he's getting in this school that he's at now. But whenever we go to like general education, it's something I'm seriously considering, and you inspire me in that sense, so I'm excited about it.
Yes.
So
it's whatever your child needs. You'll get there and you'll be like, okay, I really want to explore this, but maybe it's not right for him at this moment.
Yeah,
definitely. And we even come to that every year. You know, who knows where we'll be? What if he wants to go back to school? I'm never like stuck on one thing.
We talked about this about like parenting styles and how like it feels like I'll say like I'm for something one day and then the next day I decide I'm not, because we're just very teachable in that sense of like everything changes.
Oh, so
what
quickly.
I did with one child doesn't work for another.
Oh no, I have learned that one.
Especially
That's for
you.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You could, you know, think you have a way of teaching a child or, you know, disciplining this way or, you know, redirecting this way. When that child is going to be like, no, ma'am, that don't work for me.
Right.
So my parenting style has changed for every child that I've ever had. And it has to, because every child has different needs and different ways of reacting to things. Some are more emotional and, you know. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important to note that too, because we get asked a lot about advice. And I want people to know like what we say is not like the set in stone black and white version of like making everything better for you. Every child is different. Every parent is different. And I think that it's important to know that you can have different parenting styles with different children, even under one roof. You know, what works for one way may not work for another.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
we are not the end all be all of mom advice.
No.
We're literally learning as we go too. So.
I've had a lot of kids and I can tell you that for a fact. Like what worked for Bear as a baby does not work for Fox as a baby.
Oh, amen to that. Juliet and Boston are just night and day different.
My motherhood has changed and changed, and it's going to change. Probably change today. Oh gosh,
I have changed, not even as a mom, but as a person.
Oh gosh, as a woman, you changed
what
so
I
much.
care about,
Yes.
what I will do for friends, especially pregnant friends
yeah,
or
for
first
sure.
mom with the newborn friends. Because I can remember whenever I became a mom, feeling so alone in those first few days and weeks of motherhood. And I say that with a grain of salt because I do have some amazing friends that were mothers that did check in on me, but just like not expecting that big change that comes with it and all the new fears and things that you think of that you're going through. And it just, everything changed. And I can think back and remember times whenever I didn't have babies, whenever my friend who had just had a baby would be like, come to the hospital to meet the baby. And I would go and hold the baby and be so excited. And now when I go, I don't go to the hospital. Nope. Even if they invite me, I don't go to the hospital. And this is not to say like, if you do, you're a bad person. Please don't.
Right.
This is just my perspective from what I needed as a mom whenever I first had a baby and I didn't get it. So now I try to offer that respect to my friends that are moms in hopes that if they're not getting it, at least I can provide it to them.
No, I agree.
So I don't go to the hospital because you're so tired. You don't realize you're tired, but you're so tired. And entertaining, even having someone in your room for 15 minutes is a lot to talk to them, to have the conversation, to have them hold your baby.
And even if though like you're like, yeah, hold my baby, you're like,
please don't hold my baby. Can I hold them? You know, so like I don't ask to hold babies anymore unless a mom is like, do you want to hold him? Even in those first few weeks when they're like, do you want to hold him? I'm like, no, I just want to look at him. I can see him from here. And that's a cute baby. Oh yeah. You know, that's really more for me now as a mother. Yes. I wouldn't have done that before I had a mom because I wouldn't have even
hold that baby for sure.
Yeah, I'd have been like, that's a cute ass baby. Yeah. So another thing, kissing babies will never. Never will never.
Or you know what's wild to me is if you're like in the store with your baby and someone literally comes around and like looks up in there and like in the car seat and I'm always like, man, excuse me.
What are you doing? I get it. They're adorable. They're adorable. We get it. But keep your hands to yourself.
Your germs are too big for these babies.
Too big. Way now too big.
Now I'm just like, skirt. Yeah. Later. And it happens so often. And I know they want to look like, here's a cute baby and they're cooing and talking. But I'm just like, girl, please look from afar.
Did you ever have a stranger touch your belly when you were pregnant?
No.
I did.
I was
at work.
I was a plus size mom, so who knew if they thought I was pregnant or not? I'm just kidding. At the end, they knew. I did at work, but I didn't never feel like it was weird. Like I worked around women that I had been with for a long time, so it didn't bother me. Now, I probably would. I didn't have any friends or anything when I was pregnant with Bear. I had my work friends, and that is it. That is it.
Breaks my heart.
After I had my baby, I had nobody but my mom and dad. I had no friends. Everybody wasn't having kids yet, and it's when I first moved to Texas. I had nobody.
That's so isolating.
So I was lonely. I was a lonely mom. Yeah.
I felt lonely in the sense that like I moved away from home because Mark lived here and my whole family lives over an hour away.
Hard.
So and that doesn't seem, it's just an hour. When you have a newborn, packing up that car and going an hour and spending a day on their couch, like it's just not, we can't do that. No. So back to the things I do differently. That's another thing is that whenever I do finally go over to visit, I like to take like a casserole, something pre-made that can be like typically a lasagna because it is so easy for them to put that lasagna in the fridge or freezer and just take chunks of it. A dad can very easily pop it in the oven. It's easy to pop leftovers into the microwave. It's filling, it's delicious, and it's just something very simple. So I'll always
sending dinner is such great.
Yes.
Even like friends from afar now, I'll send them like a $50 Venmo, like go get dinner. Go get dinner. That way you guys don't even have to worry about it. And that's such a nice gift to get.
People don't realize just how relieving it is to not have to think about food whenever you are just trying to survive. Because you're like, do I wash my ass or do I make a plate? You really get one.
And
or
even the
other.
dad, like Chris was next to me the whole time with our baby. Like they're also bonding. So it's really nice for them to be like, okay, they made our whole family dinner. You know, like, that's so great.
Yeah. I agree. I will take them food and I don't stay very long. Yeah. Because that is one thing. Overstaying your welcome with a new mom, I don't stay past 20 minutes. No. I feel like even that is pushing it. That's a long time to have somebody in your house when you're in the newborn phase. I'm in a diaper too, y'all. Like, I just want to go lay down. I'm tired. I haven't
had a friend in a while had a baby, but I know that like I would.
Yes, you have.
But I would like text you and stuff like that. I wasn't showing up at your house.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
No, but I had a newborn too. So we both had newborn.
We both had newborns in this year. But
did have a baby. But like I'm more so like, hey, how are you doing? You know,
Yeah.
like that kind of text message. But
And don't promise something that you're not going to give them.
oh,
Please,
yeah,
especially
don't.
food. I had somebody promise
Don't
me
promise
that they were
food
going to
ever.
show up with, they said specifically, a bag of bacon.
A whole bag of bacon.
A whole bag of bacon. They were like, I'm going to make you a Ziploc bag of bacon because then you can just easily have breakfast
Oh my
with your
gosh.
eggs. You have bacon
That's
with
a
your eggs.
genius
You
idea.
can have BLT sandwiches. You get like so
I'm
many
gonna
different
give
things.
Ben a
And I
whole
was
bag
like,
of bacon.
hell yeah.
when
we
he has a
should.
baby.
We should. Send you
He
a bag of
needs
bacon.
bacon.
How
He
excited he
needs
looks.
bacon.
Ben's bacon.
This is Ben's bacon.
I'm going to have a Ziploc bag that just says Ben's bacon.
Because he's having a baby, so.
He is having a baby. But,
But don't promise people that. Okay, Ben, I'm gonna
we
give it to
are
you
going to
now.
give you the bacon because somebody promised me bacon and showed up with donuts.
Really?
A box of donuts.
That's terrible.
It's actually a horror. And then I sound
That's sweet.
shitty for
You wanted
being like,
savory bacon.
well, and I sound bad for being like, I didn't want those donuts. But why'd you tell me you were going to bring me stuff for sandwiches and breakfasts and everything? And you brought me
unfriend
one
that
singular
person.
breakfast?
Oh,
I did. We're no contact.
I hate, like, this is super controversial. There's not a donut out there I
Hate-
enjoy.
hate is
They
a
make
very
me feel
serious word.
terrible. But bacon, I can eat.
Bacon.
I literally have 2 pounds of bacon in the freezer waiting for Christmas
See?
Day. I'm going to feed my entire
he's
family
ready.
bacon.
Just bacon.
Bacon. We'll make the eggs, but I am bringing 2 pounds of high quality bacon.
Oh, see, then we got to make sure we give him the bacon.
Well, it was very sad because I thought I was going to have protein and I was not given that. And so it wouldn't have mattered to me if they showed up with bacon or donuts or not. Like it would have been so exciting. But because I was promised something,
You were like, I'm
I
looking
was
for the bacon.
relying on it. And so
Yeah.
I hadn't gone grocery shopping because I knew I was going to have stuff for sandwiches. And then I'm like this newborn mom in a diaper crying, like trying to
don't
eat this
want these
donut. Just like,
donuts.
I just want a BLT. I was so sad. And it seems ridiculous,
Oh
but
my
your
God.
hormones are all over the
For
place.
sure.
And just like one little thing
For
like
sure.
that can just scar somebody forever. Don't bring donuts. bring
Please
bacon.
don't bring donuts.
bring bacon.
Just bring the bacon, please.
We all just want you to bring the bacon out.
Oh my God, I
Okay.
cannot.
Hey, something people really, really want to know about
What?
with you that we have to touch on in this
Okay.
episode is your fertility journey. I feel like our pregnancy journeys were just so different all the way
Yeah.
around too.
Yeah.
Even both my pregnancies were completely opposite. So like, I want you to go into all of that and then I'll talk about mine.
Okay, I'll start at the beginning here. Me and Chris have always wanted kids, and so we tried like everybody else did. And I was young,
good old-fashioned
and he
way.
was young, and we were
They
not-
were
We
trying.
was trying for like a year, and
Did you take ovulation kits and everything?
Yeah, I did. I did everything. I tested my temperature and
I
everything.
must say, like, testing your temperature is a big thing.
Oh my goodness, I did everything that I was supposed to do.
Right.
And so nothing was working. And towards the end of the year, I was getting to that point where I was trying everything. I'm drinking in that baby in a bottle, you know, that Geritol that everybody drinks. I was trying that. I was looking up the steam thing where you steam your vajayjay.
The yoni steam?
Yes, it's supposed to open you up. For real, I was thinking about cutting a
Putting
hole
your
in a
legs
chair.
up.
I was like, we need to go to the thrift store and get a chair so I can cut a hole in it, so the steam you can put a pot under me and the steam can go up in my vajay. I was there, y'all. And so, that's a thing, I promise you.
Oh, yeah, no. There's
Yeah.
a place in Dallas that'll do
I've done it there.
We can go.
I've done it there at the massage place. Yes, but that wasn't for fertility. It was just because it steams your vagina.
I'm scared
It's
to do
good
it.
for it.
Look, Ben's Googling. It's a real thing, Ben.
It's good for it.
It's a real thing.
For real. It's like
they put
tea.
like herbs,
tea
like
for your
tea.
vagina.
It like opens it up and it has health benefits.
So anyways, I was there, you guys. I was at that point of my fertility journey that I was like, I'm trying anything. Ben's face right now behind
Ben's
the camera.
face is amazed. He looks shocked, astonished.
Don't hate it. It felt kind of good. Anyways.
Maybe you need to open one for your balls.
But I did that afterwards. Anyways, I was there with Chris, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to an infertility doctor. Let me look somebody up. So I did. And
What was that like? Because you were young.
yeah.
So like, did that come with its own fair share of emotions?
So I was scared already, and I didn't think anything was wrong with me. I thought, okay, well maybe because I'm plus size. You know, that's what I thought. You know, and I hear, okay, plus size women can't have babies. Well, that wasn't it at all. First of all, I went in there and I was a nervous wreck, and I thought something's wrong with me or maybe my husband. And I remember going in, being young, and the first thing they did was a pap smear on me. Just did an
just
annual visit.
traditional.
And as soon as they did that, he says, "You have PCOS."
They can tell that by
I
pap
guess
smear?
they could probably see a cyst or something.
I'll be damned.
Sorry. And I believe so. And then they did blood work, and that day that I had my past period, he told me that I have PCOS and what it was, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and that I have a very low chance of having children. It basically, you don't ovulate fully, your eggs don't fully ovulate. There's a whole lot more into it, but I was crushed. Yeah. I cried and I was devastated. I went home and told Chris and my parents, like, I'm not going to have any kids.
Yeah.
I have a 3% chance of having babies.
Is that how low it is?
Devastated.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And so that day they did my blood work and I came back like a couple days later and all my blood work came back and I was healthy as could be. I didn't have thyroid issues. I just had
PCOS.
I just had PCOS and I was devastated. And that doctor, I'm crying as I walk out and he told me my result and he looked at me and he said, there's a lady standing there with a baby, like a newborn baby. And he looks at her and he says, you see that baby right there? And I said, yeah. He says, I do that here. And I started crying and that mom was standing there and he's like, she couldn't have kids either. And there's a baby. And I just remember leaving like, oh, I'm never going to have kids. Like, right. Here we go. Well, anyways, that next, then that next week, they put me on Clomid, which is a fertility drug.
Is that by mouth?
By mouth. It's a pill. Yeah. And they gave me a sex schedule, literally, what it is, when we had to do it, on which days.
Did that become mechanical?
Goodness gracious, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. And
it's a lot of sex?
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, at that time, we were having a lot of sex already.
Okay, I've got to know a schedule. Now I've got to know, like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so.
Multiple times a day?
So you would have your period, and then you would wait the 7 days in between, and then you would start the Clomid, or you started the Clomid maybe the day after your period, something like that. It's been a long time. And then on day 7, you and your husband would have sex every single day. It was like 6 days, day off. 7 days, day off. And I'm talking every day. And they'd be like, try it in the morning, then try it at night.
Good Lord.
It was a lot. And it was like for the next, and they were like, go a little longer. So that way, if your ovulation window is longer, it was a lot, you guys. And it came to the point where like, we enjoyed it. We were young, but it was like, oh man, Chris was tired after work.
Chore.
And I'd be like 5 a.m. because I would have to leave to work. I'd be like, get up. Like, and at this time, I'm like, I'm having a baby. Let's go. So it'd be like 5 a.m. before I had to take off to work.
Yeah.
And we would do it. We wanted a baby that bad. I wanted a baby so bad. I wanted to be a parent so bad. And so the first month went by, negative, not pregnant. And we did it again. And that month, I actually drank that Geritol baby in a bottle while taking that. And I got pregnant in 2 months.
With Bear. Did you have a hard pregnancy?
So after that, they had said, like, I was shook, first of all. They had said that I was going to be high risk because a lot of fertility medications make you at a higher risk of miscarriage.
Wow. And
also a higher risk of having multiples. So here I was scared and I was having so many appointments because they were just, I was high risk and whatnot.
Checking.
And then I got to like 15 weeks and they were like, you're good to go. And then the anatomy scan came at 20 weeks and that's when we found out we were having a boy. And no,
you waited that long?
I did.
I did not wait that long with you.
I did. I didn't know that was a thing when I had Bear, honestly, that I could know early. I had no idea. Wow. I had a strong baby. He was strong and I was carrying a baby so great. They would say, he was like, you carrying this baby beautifully, nothing's wrong. I did my juice test or whatever it's called. What's that called?
The glucose test.
Nothing came back. And so that's where I tell women where they said like, oh, I'm plus size, I can't have kids. I was plus size. I was probably only 20 pounds lighter than I am now. And I had that baby completely, beautifully, nothing wrong with me. And then, I went all the way up to 42 weeks pregnant with Bear. Yes. And
did you get induced
I had to be induced. I had to be induced.
Man.
And
some doctors won't let you wait that long.
Push that baby out in 15 minutes. And so I thought, I'm going to have another one. No, I have now tried. We started trying again when Bear was 1 year old. Bear's 7 now. So we've tried for 6 years to get pregnant and we haven't. And I've tried Clomid.
Unmedicated.
No, I've tried medicated. Yeah, probably 4 times now.
But it makes you feel uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yes.
The Clomid doesn't make you feel sick?
Oh, yeah. It literally throws your hormones off. Basically what I heard is like put you in a state of being pregnant all the time.
Ooh.
So yeah, we've tried. So now I'm having secondary infertility and it's been 6 years and I'll continue to try, but really, I'm happy to have Bear and I feel very good in that. Like I feel great that I have a biological son And we didn't go into foster care. And someone's going to say this, to adopt. I already had Bear. I felt very wonderful with that. I just knew I wanted to be a mother to more kids.
Yeah.
And so you guys have seen, I've sent home so many children. I
you
just
didn't
felt
join
that
to have children in foster care. Come stay with you forever.
Yeah. I had that yearning feeling of being a mama, you know? And so
if you had advice for somebody that's struggling right now with PCOS that is looking at you as an inspiration, what words would you give them as they struggle through that journey?
It's going to be heartbreaking, and no one's going to be able to make you feel better about it.
Yeah,
nobody.
No,
because it's a silent struggle that we go through every single day. That you want to be a mom every day. You see people be a mom every day. You see women become mothers. You see people who aren't supposed to be moms, and it's going to be a silent journey that you're going to go on by yourself. But if you don't lose hope, and it's hard because I'm going through it now. And so I would love to have another baby, but I just hope that mentally you find things that you find joy in and pour into those things while you're not a mama, and that be hopeful that you will be one day. Don't lose that hope, because I haven't. And it's hard, but keep going, keep waking up. And
do you think that joining a PCOS community helped you at all with just being able to scream out your emotions in certain places?
A little bit. Like when I first got diagnosed, I joined all the groups. I wanted to know all the things, people going through the same thing. But it was heartbreaking still seeing those women get pregnant and I wasn't.
Yeah.
So like even now, like it's hard because I've tried for a long time, and it's hard. It's hard to keep seeing that and be happy, and you are happy for them, but you're like, why not me?
Right. The comparison game.
Yeah.
Only becomes more difficult.
Yeah. But just don't lose hope and find joy. And if you would like to, if you're yearning to be a mother, don't go into foster care for that. But
yeah, absolutely not.
Taking care of kids of all ages could be a wonderful thing. You might want to look into teenagers or something like that. But just don't lose hope. And I hope that you become a mama.
Yeah,
just
me
know
too.
that I do. I hope that you become a mom.
We have such different
so tell me about yours.
In that sense, mine's a whole pull-out baby. So Mark and I, Mark, does not really love contraception, and so we were just having fun. And I can remember whenever I found out that I was pregnant, somebody had mentioned asking me if I had a tampon, and I was like, no, I don't. And then I thought to myself, it's been a little while, hasn't it? Why don't I need one? And so I just looked at I had like an app that period tracker app, and it was like, you're 4 days late. Oh. And I was like, that's weird. Which, to be fair, I was a lesbian for 9 years and I didn't track it.
Didn't even have to worry about that.
So whenever I started dating Mark, I had to download a whole app to track it, So I was like, well, maybe this thing is just off. It's only been on here for hell at that point, like 10 months. And I was like, maybe
only 10 months.
Maybe it's just off. And so I went and got a pregnancy test. Mark was with me that night. We were at my apartment. Ooh. And I was like, I'm going to wait till I'm a week late. Because in my brain, for whatever reason, keep in mind, I've been pregnant before and taken a test before, but I was 18. I was a child and in a Walmart bathroom. So a totally different experience.
Yes.
I was just like, it won't show up until I'm a week late.
Yeah.
Whatever. For whatever reason, that's what I thought. So I was like, I'm going to wait till I'm a week late. And then I was like, no, you know what? I'm just going to take it.
Okay.
I'm just going to take it. I had anxiety. I was just like, I'm just going to take it.
Yeah.
So I can remember we had ordered Palio's. If you know what Palio's is, like an Italian restaurant. We had ordered Palio's, and the delivery driver knocked on the door at the same time that I was going to check on it. So Mark was opening the door to my apartment to get food, and I was looking at a pregnancy test. And whenever it was as positive as they can be, like 2 lines for sure. And he comes in the room to see, like, he's like, hey, did you check? And I'm like shaking trying to open the digital.
Oh my God.
Because I'm like, holy shit. I'm pregnant by my boyfriend that no one even knows I'm dating. And so I'm in full panic mode at that point. But he was really nice and reassuring. It was just like, I can remember he took a deep breath and he was just like, okay. Because he had kids already. And so it was a lot. It was a lot for a second to swallow, but just because it was so unexpected. Boston was just so unexpected. Boston's pregnancy, I told you the story. People always ask me, what's the difference in a girl pregnancy and a boy pregnancy? There's a lot a lot. And some people will say that their girl was easier, their boy was easier. They were so different that they were both difficult in different ways.
Okay, I can see that.
So with Boston, I had tachycardia, which is like a heart condition where my heart would just start racing out of nowhere. And it would just feel like it was pounding out of my chest because he would lay his big head on one of my ventricle veins or some shit. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but that's what they would tell me. And it would make my heart start working a lot. So I'd feel like I was having a panic attack out of nowhere. That sucked. And then he also made me very nauseous, but without the relief of throwing up, like trapped nausea.
Yes.
Mark had gone to pick up groceries and had a rotisserie chicken in the trunk, and I could smell it from the trunk to the front, and I just sat in the front seat crying.
Those smells.
It smells so bad. I was hanging my head out the window, and we're driving from Denison to Plano because at that point we're commuting, which is an hour, with this stupid chicken in the back.
God.
I to this day don't really love rotisserie chicken. It just threw me off. I could only eat fruit and veggies, so I was so convinced that it was a girl, which was very exciting for me because he had 2 boys.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if we just have a girl, we'll be done forever. We'll never have another baby.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wrong. It was a boy, which guess what? I had gender disappointment. I sobbed my eyes out whenever I found out that it was a boy, and I don't give a shit if you judge me for it, because you want to know what? I love my son. I love him unconditionally. He's amazing and perfect, and I would not wish for anything other than him.
Yes.
But in that moment,
there
was this dream of a little girl.
Yes.
And it does make you sad. I don't care what people say. It makes you sad whenever you find out that it's not the gender that you were maybe hopeful for. It's okay to feel gender. It does not make you a bad parent to feel gender disappointment. Please know that. The people who act like it is that big of a deal, literally get your panties out of a bunch. What do you give a shit if that person is a little bit disappointed? It's like, my thing is, if they treat that child differently because they're a different gender, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're all panties in a bunch there, okay? If we're just a pregnant mom that's already hormonal and just wants to have an emotion about it for a moment, let them have their feelings.
That's right. They're still going to love their baby.
Let them have their feelings. Give them a cookie and pat them on the back, and do not judge them, because what's the point? Right? So I was sad. I was sad whenever I found out that Boston was a boy. But, of course, I got over it because he's perfect. He's everything to me. Aww. And then I was induced with him. Well, I say that. I went into labor, and they said, okay, we're going to go ahead and induce you, because I was still driving an hour from my doctor.
Oh, yeah.
I was dilated to a 4 with normal contractions. And they said, okay, let's go ahead and start Pitocin. Let's kick this bad boy up. Broke my water for me and did the whole thing.
How did it go?
I pushed for 2.5 hours and had a 3rd degree episiotomy.
Yeah. That's a rip.
It was from one hole to the other.
Oh my God.
It was so painful. It was pretty intense. Mark said, God. I just remember her bringing out these big scissors and thinking, okay, here we go. I'm about to cut the umbilical cord. And then I was like, oh, that's not cutting the umbilical cord. So it was a lot. It was, especially as a first time mom.
Oh my
I didn't
gosh.
expect I didn't know anything else. I'd never even heard what the hell is an episiotomy. I didn't even know that like people did that. I was very confused. And then of course the whole bacon thing happened, and that was heartbreaking. That was in the first few days. And so I didn't feel like I had like postpartum depression with Boston. I had anxiety. Bad anxiety.
Bad.
And then with Juliet, I had depression. It was a very different feeling with her. When I got pregnant with Juliet, it was also a little unexpected. We had suffered a miscarriage 8 months before, and we weren't really trying. And we were just not trying but not preventing. I like to say it was just more natural. And so when we found out we were pregnant with her, we were kind of surprised in the sense of like we didn't calculate it. But I can remember being like, oh my God, what if it's a 4th boy? Oh my God. And I probably would have cried if it had been a 4th boy.
You wanted your little girl.
Yes, but it wasn't. And I knew it couldn't be, because she had me puking from the second I found out she was there.
Sick.
I mean, like, you were so sick. I lost 14 pounds. I looked damn good. I was looking good. And then
so sick.
I blew right back up. But no, I got gestational diabetes is what happened.
Yeah.
And I
love that you shared that journey, because
it was so hard.
I know.
It was so hard.
Yes.
And people were like, well, what are you eating? I was eating perfectly fine. I was eating great. And even like my numbers during the day with my food were perfect.
Yeah.
It was my fasting number. I could not get my fasting number to come down. Right. Even on medication, my fasting number would be a little too high. And so they didn't want to put me on insulin. Thank God, because I'm not very good with needles. You guys know that. So, but it was very stressful.
You maintained it really well. You learned how to adapt to that.
You have to.
Yeah,
you don't have any other choice. Yeah. And there's nothing harder than being on a diet when you're pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
It's like all I wanted was chocolate cake. All they wanted was chocolate cake. And they were like, you can't.
Yeah.
So that was very difficult. And then the whole birthing experience.
Yeah. Did you go full term? Not full term. I'm sorry. Did you go farther with her than Boston?
Okay. So Boston, I had him at 38 weeks and 2 days.
Okay.
I had Juliet at 37 weeks exactly because I was medically induced.
Okay.
Because I had hypertension. My blood pressure was crawling way too high.
That's right.
And so I went in for my 37-week appointment and it was high. And my doctor was like,
time to go.
We're going. The hospital policy is that at 37 weeks, I can induce you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be preeclamptic, and you are right on the edge of it.
Yes.
So she was like, we're going. So we had her, and it was wonderful.
Was it faster?
It was. I only pushed for 30 minutes with her.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't think it was a full 30 minutes. I want to say it was more around 20.
Okay.
Because there were breaks in between, obviously, with the contractions. I only pushed 4 times with her. So that was great in comparison. I had not an episiotomy, but I did have a small tear.
Yeah.
But she told me that she was just going to let it happen naturally and that she was not going to do the episiotomy. And I was so thankful for that because she really educated me in that sense. I was so much more prepared. Even I was more scared. I had gestational diabetes and hypertension. And I was very aware of what was about to go down.
Yes.
So I was definitely more scared, but having the difference in provider of someone who was informative and kind and patient with me was so huge. So when people ask me like, what's the number one advice you give to a pregnant mom? Have a provider you trust.
Yes.
Because it's you and them.
Yeah. And as a first time mom, it's hard to like know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
And how to advocate for yourself.
Luckily mine was wonderful, but like, advocating is so hard.
Oh my God. It's hard in people you love. I'm not very confrontational in that sense.
Yeah.
Not unless you mess with my kids.
Yeah.
Then I will come for you quickly without a second thought. But
and then you had Juliet though, and you had to be in the NICU, right?
Well, they both had to stay.
Okay, Boston too.
He did not go to the NICU, but he did stay in the room because he had jaundice. So he had to stay under the light for multiple days. And then Juliet was immediately taken to the NICU.
Yes.
Her blood sugar was too low, which they say is very common with gestational diabetes moms. So her blood sugar was too low. So we had to stay 2 days there while they regulated
we
that.
also were in the NICU there.
It's so hard.
All of our journeys are so different. Yeah.
We've talked about how hard it is to walk into a NICU.
Oh my gosh.
There is a routine that they teach you when you go in there.
Yes.
That you hear it through a fog.
Yes.
But it never leaves your brain when it happens. And there's just something about...
I can still go back to that moment of seeing my baby in that bed. I can literally still see it.
And seeing other moms standing next to their baby carriers and their diapers and postpartum pajamas and how sad they look.
Walking in slow.
Yeah, like it's just... You kind of do this like smile and head nod to the mom across the room that has a baby that, she's also equally worried about.
Yeah.
So pregnancy is just, it's a whole journey.
It's rough.
Advocate for yourself. There's so much more we could go into on this. Advocating for yourself, making sure that you remember that your feelings are valid and that it's also okay to think to yourself, I'm being crazy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you are, and that's okay.
And all of our journeys look different too.
Yeah, hell yeah, they do.
Yeah, and I always get a second opinion on things.
Yeah.
I hear so many plus size moms saying like, well, they told me I need to lose 50 pounds. And I just feel like, just always get a second opinion on things. Get a second opinion.
And if it doesn't feel right, definitely look into it more.
That's right, because you'll find somebody who really cares. Tell you, there's good people out there.
People who will look at you not like a patient, but as a human.
Yeah.
As a woman with a baby.
And let me say something. As a plus size woman, no one's going to get this except for y'all and plus size men. We are looked at differently in appointments. I'm not just saying that. I know it for a fact. When I was 10 years old, I was told I was fat, and I'll never forget that. So when you go in, be bold. Like I will walk in now to this day and be like, I know I'm big, but I don't have that problem. I need something else. Like set it straight. Go in confidently and know. Like I know that I'm plus size, but I'm not here to talk about that.
Right.
You got to be bold. Because they will look at you for what you look like in front of you.
Right. It's like you want to blame everything on my size. That's what I had to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
You can go in for something and they're going to look at you and call you fat first. Well, if you weren't plus size, that wouldn't have happened. No, ma'am. You don't know nothing about me. Anyways.
Send them to me.
Yes. Anyways, guys, goodness gracious. We wanted to share a little bit about that.
Well, what an exciting journey we've had.
It's so different.
And cheers to hopefully more.
Yep.
For you, not for me.
Yes.
For anybody asking. Somebody asked that the other day. No. Thank you.
Yes for me.
I'm done.
No for her.
Thanks.
Goodness.
Well, that was fun to talk about.
I know.
Talking about our own little pregnancy
Reminisce makes me
journeys.
emotional, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't miss it. Some people love being pregnant.
I miss it.
I don't. I'm not a good pregnant girl.
Oh, goodness, you guys. Thank you guys for joining us once again. I can't believe we made it this far. And as always, guys, keep those giggles going.
And the love flowing.
And until next time.
Mom knows best.
Or at least she's trying her best.
She's trying her best, baby.
Bye, guys.